What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fish a Hex. Appreciate you stopping in. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the new skimmer for the 300-gallon build that's going to be happening this September. And yes, it's April. It's a few months early, but if you've been in the hobby for any period of time, you know how exciting it is to try new equipment and see how it works. And there was no way I was going to let this skimmer sit in the box until September. Just wasn't going to happen. But before we get into the video, I just want to apologize about taking down my last one. And the reason for that is 9 out of 10 times when I make a video, I have an outline of what I want to talk about because I don't want to give people the wrong information or miss something and then guide them in the wrong direction. That would be, just not good for anybody who watches this channel. Now, the thing that I missed and I failed to mention is that I only use, on the generator, since it doesn't have an inverter, I only use the power heads, the return pump, and my heaters. I don't use my Apex because it's not very stable voltage and you could fry it because it has... I won't say it has a motherboard, but it has a circuit board in it, so you have a potential of frying it. Now, I failed to mention that, and I got caught up on the comments on it. I was like, oh, shit, I definitely forgot to put that in there. And because it wasn't full of the information that I wanted to provide, I just took the video down. So I will remake that one at some point and repost that. So just wanted to put that out there. So I do apologize for anybody who had any questions on that video. Feel free to put them in this one, and I will answer them. Well, with all that being said, let's get into the skimmer itself. Now, I decided to purchase the Nyos Quantum 300, which is the biggest skimmer they have. And honestly, I just had the mindset, go big or go home. And I went big, and that's for sure. Now, it is actually rated for about 500 to 1,000 gallons. And the new Reef tank is going to be approximately 400 gallons with the frag system built into it, the sump, the cube, and the display. So it's going to be about 400 gallons. So I'm still under that 500 mark, but I'm a really strong believer that you can't overskim a tank. But there are some instances where if you, with acropores specifically, if you skim too much, you tend to turn them a little pale because there isn't enough nutrients in the tank. But I've never really had that problem because I'm always dosing, a Red Sea color program, or I'm feeding pretty heavily to keep the tanks happy and the eel happy. So honestly, I'm really not too worried about over skimming the tank, but I will keep an eye on it based on the size of the skimmer, and I'll make adjustments if I need to. So this skimmer is actually going to replace the Bubble Magus Curve 7 on the frag system just temporarily until I move, and then of course it will go on the new build, and then the Bubble Magus will go back onto the frag system once everything is set up in the new house. Now, I was hesitant on buying this skimmer because, my whole channel is pretty much based on how to be successful for the minimal amount of money, and I think I've proven over the 270 plus videos that I can, in fact, be successful, and you can as well, without having to spend a ton of money on equipment. Now, like I said, I was pretty hesitant about getting this because of the sheer amount of money it costs for this, and I didn't want to shy people away from my channel, but I'm just kind of at the point now where I want to see if there's really a difference between a mid-level $300 skimmer and a higher-end $1,200 skimmer when it comes to performance and build quality. So that's kind of what this comparison is about, and we'll get into that not only later in this video, but as time goes on and in the new build. So the next thing I want to talk about is assembling the skimmer. Now, I initially thought because of the additional pump, it would be, a little bit more in depth when it comes to putting it together compared to the Curve 7. And honestly, I just needed a flathead screwdriver, and it took only a couple minutes. And I slowed things down because I wanted to get it on video and I wanted to show you guys everything. But honestly, everything was plug and play, everything lined up perfectly, and there really wasn't any flaws in any aspect of the skimmer when it came to assembling it. So the next thing I want to talk about is the overall build quality of the skimmer. Now, over the years, I've probably opened up maybe 50 to 100 skimmers between my own and clients, and it's just something that you pick up on as soon as you open the box. And I'm very thankful that Nyos has really put a lot of time and effort into fine-tuning every little piece of the skimmer, even down to the clips that hold on the skimmer body itself and the screws. They're just all finely tuned. It's just no sharp edges, nothing scuffed up, nothing cracked, and it fits together perfectly. And rightfully so, for the sheer amount of money that people spend on these types of skimmers. And the next one I can compare is like a Reef Octopus skimmer. Those are pretty pricey skimmers, and you should get what you pay for, as with everything in life, but it doesn't always work out that way. I know there's plenty of times where I purchase something expecting to get more out of it, and just to come to find out that it's a piece of shit and I wasted all my money. So I'm very thankful that this is living up to the expectations, and we'll just kind of see how it holds up over time. All right, before we install it in the 40 breeder underneath the frag system, let me give you some fun facts about the skimmer. It is ran by 2 Quantum 5.0 pumps, which are dead silent. You can't hear them click on, and they are about 22 watts a piece for a grand total of 44 watts, and they are dead silent. Honestly, you can't hear anything, so I'm pretty thankful about that. The next thing I want to mention is the air getting pulled into the skimmer itself. You can't hear anything. I know on the Curve 7 I could hear that, and that was one of the reasons why I plumbed the airline outside, not only to pull cold air in for the pH purposes, but to also eliminate that noise from the skimmer. This one, one side is actually plumbed outside, but you can't hear anything regardless of it being hooked up, so that's pretty cool. Now, when it comes to dimensions, you really don't grasp how big the skimmer is until it's sitting in front of you, but lengthwise, it's about 13.5 inches. Wide, it's 16.5 inches, and height is about 26 inches, so it's pretty massive, and you guys will see the comparison cups of the Curve 7 and this new Quantum skimmer. All right, let's get into installing the skimmer in the 40-gallon breeder. Now, regardless of how big that space is, I actually had to put it together in 2 pieces. I just couldn't fit it. It wouldn't, no matter what I did, it wouldn't fit. So I had to put the base in, and then I had to squeeze in the skimmer body and then screw everything together, which was kind of funny. I didn't think that was ever going to happen, but I'm glad that it did, because now I'm going to pretty much build my entire sump and my system around this skimmer to make sure that everything fits perfectly. So I'm definitely glad that I made this purchase early. Once the skimmer was installed and everything was turned on, I immediately noticed that I didn't have to break the skimmer in. Now, I do remember reading a while back that most skimmers have to be broken in because of the manufacturing process with the chemicals and all the stuff that's already on the acrylic, which causes it to overflow. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's just something that I read on the internet. And as you guys know, everything on the internet is true, right? So, if anybody knows any more detail about that, please let me know in the comment section. But with this skimmer, there was no break-in phase. I did notice a slight drop in water level over about 2.5 weeks. But other than that, I just made the little minor adjustment on the valve there, and it worked perfectly back to normal. So there was no break-in period, and within 24 hours, I had about a 1/2 inch of skimmate in the cup, and you guys will see that here in the video. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I removed my biopellet reactor about 1.5 weeks after starting the skimmer, and the reason why I did that is I started noticing a little bit of paleness in my acropora. Not all of them, but some of the species were starting to get a little pale, and I could really only contribute it to I use about 2 cups of GFO, and I use the appropriate amount of biopellets for my water volume in that reactor. Now, I'm not running a refugium or an algae scrubber, and I think after adding the skimmer, because the sheer amount of nutrients that the skimmer pulls out on a daily basis, I think it just kind of stripped the tank a little bit. Not too much, and honestly, if I wasn't really paying attention, it really wouldn't have been a big deal. It didn't kill anything by all means, but what I did is I simply just cut my GFO in half, got rid of the biopellets, and I'm relying pretty much on water changes, which is every other week at 20%, and this skimmer to remove nutrients. And honestly, the coral look better than they did in the main display, which is awesome. And it really helps when it comes to taking pictures and selling coral, considering the fact I'm trying to get rid of it as quickly as possible so I can move. But I'm pretty happy with the change, and I'm really not sure if I'm going to use biopellets on the new system. Again, we are going to be doubling the water volume, so we'll see if the skimmer can really keep up on the new system. Well, guys, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't want to ramble on too long. We're about 8 minutes in, and there's no reason to go any longer on a skimmer. But I will keep you guys up to date on how it performs. And so far, I really have no reason to turn back to any other brand. This fulfills everything I'm looking for at this point, and I'm really interested to see how it performs on the new tank. So either way, guys, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. Peace.